Hey everyone, welcome to the Adam.
And I'm Bruce.
And with Nintendo expected to reveal their next console, currently dubbed the Nintendo NX at E3, we are deep into rumor season.
Bizarrely, the rumors have yet to get truly outlandish. Typically by now we'd be reporting that the NX will operate in some trans-dimensional state and also have the next Crash Bandicoot as an exclusive.
Confirmed?
Confirmed.
Whoa!
Yes, rumors say that if the NX gets wet, it will create a singularity that will suck out reality inside out of a prolapse butthole.
That's perfect. That was perfect. Okay. Less than a minute in, and we found a way to say prolapse. It's going to be a good episode, ladies and gentlemen.
And
so
a long
settle in. Regardless, we're finally getting into Crazy Town, as the latest rumors sound somewhat far-fetched.
Like you can imagine a console as powerful as 50 Wii U's.
What?
No! How about 100 Vitas?
It'd be the best console ever.
3 R's.
Let's start with the normal stuff first. Lawrence?
Okay, so this batch of rumors comes from a recurring source of leaks named GENO.
Okay.
Which, old timers remember is that magical puppet from Super Mario RPG. Nobody
I don't
knows
remember that.
Yeah. Speculation says that GENO works in PR and probably has the inside track on a number of projects before they hit the public eye. This is just basically based on what you've seen him do before.
Yeah, the source Lawrence is talking about does have a positive track record, at least according to Dual Pixels, the same website reporting the rumor.
Yeah, apparently GENO leaked Microsoft's Illuma Room before the company debuted the project, in addition to calling a full 3D Pokemon before Nintendo announced Pokemon X and Y.
He did it. But Lawrence, is this guy actually legit?
It's hard to say. He's been right a couple of times. I've seen his name pop up on forums and rumor stuff over the years, and he has yet to be laughed out of the room, which typically happens to people that report on rumors.
Yeah.
Like us.
Ha!
How are those Dark Souls screenshots? God fucking damn. The ones we photoshopped?
It's alright. Go ahead.
Alright, so leak culture is kind of weird. You start to see trends and like kind of the same behavior with people that either are or aren't making up their own information. One of the trends that I've noticed is that if somebody invents an alter ego for themselves, they tend to want credit for the leaks that they put out there to be connected.
Sure.
And people only want that credit to be cumulative if they believe what they're leaking. I mean, if you're just trolling people, you don't really want a reputation based on that because it's not going to work more than once.
That makes sense. Right.
Yeah, you pull the one bullshit move and then you move on and make another name so people believe you next time. Instead, this person has invented this name and they always leak under that name, so theoretically, at least that person believes what they're putting out there is genuine.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's our word of caution. Obviously, all this info is unconfirmed, so take it with the appropriate grain of salt.
All right, enough pussyfooting around. Let's get into it. For starters, the Nintendo NX will have a wireless dongle that will attach to the back of the device and sit flush with the case. To play, you just pop the old guy off and plug it into any HDMI port.
Yeah, the rumor says that this is an evolved version of the Wii U streaming tech and sounds pretty similar to basically a Chromecast to us. Provided it's low latency, there's no reason that could not work.
Not at all. Apparently, the analog sticks and the controllers have haptic feedback motors inside them as well.
Yeah, the rumor lists a couple of potential uses for this, such as playing a 3D platformer and feeling pushback if you try to move your character into a wall to simulate pushing against it. Other provided examples include a slight jerk when firing a gun or some rumbles when moving over a rough terrain.
Yeah, that's cool. Again, this is cool and totally feasible. Microsoft integrated haptic feedback directly into the triggers for the Xbox One controller, and it works pretty well.
Yeah, games like Forza use the rumble to help you feel the traction while you drive. So baking that functionality into both analog sticks could really open up some pretty cool gameplay possibilities.
Definitely. Next up, the console will reportedly Bluetooth sync with anything.
Yeah, anything, Joel!
The rumors suggest that the NX can pair with your phone to receive calls and display text messages.
Yeah, while we're not super sure we want to see text from mom popping up while we're slaying Ganon or whatever, this does sound pretty Nintendo, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, Nintendo takes a fairly clinical approach to implementing quality of life features, even if they don't always have the best track record.
Yeah.
I just kind of imagine there's a bunch of Japanese guys with clipboards watching somebody play a video game and writing down everything they see that person doing. I imagine in this instance, they saw somebody playing a game and looking at their phone every 5 minutes.
Yep.
So they're like, aha, if we put that in the game, they'll never leave. This did happen before with the Wii U, though, so you guys remember TV?
No.
That dumb TV listing app for Wii U?
No.
And then you had to hit a button to change the input on your TV to go over to the thing you wanted, and then you could use your
remember that.
We said we
gamepad
won't
as
talk about that anymore.
infrared remote. Yeah, nobody used it, but it's that kind of thing. I imagine people at Nintendo were like, gosh, people want to be able to watch TV and play games off the same device. But the solution wasn't quite great. Nobody used it, and then it got completely shelved about a month ago, I think.
Yeah, pairing to a phone sounds a little more useful, though, unless you're the type that can't play a full Mario level without checking the Instagram likes on the last hamburger you ate.
It's up to 40. And now here's where it gets a little wacky. The rumor tries to describe the supposed power of the console and just kind of goes off the damn rails.
First off, it says that the NX is closest to an Xbox One in terms of horsepower, but then goes on to say, an app idea is Wii U times 50 and a PlayStation Vita times 100.
You still with us?
That's a direct quote, so we're a little confused what app means. Lawrence, what's he talking about?
I guess it could mean approximate. I guess that's what it means, unless they're talking about the number of apps, which could make sense. But if they're talking approximately 50 times a Wii U, the math just seriously doesn't add up.
Right.
According to the analysis of the Wii U's hardware, the console's graphics processing can churn out about 352 gigaflops. And yes, I understand I sound like a Muppet when I'm saying that. A flops is a floating point operation per second.
Right.
It's essentially a measure of how much math a console can generate in a given amount of time, which essentially roughly means how many good graphics it can throw up on the screen.
Yeah.
So you multiply that funny little word by 50 and you get 17.6 teraflops, which is nowhere near the Xbox One's 1.31 teraflops.
Right, if you run the math of the Vita comparison, you get 5.12 teraflops, which is closer, but still multiples of power away from an Xbox One.
The claims get even wackier, if you can imagine. GENO relates that, saying, quote, any game that can run off a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One can easily run on the NX with near zero modification to the original source code, especially if it runs in Android OS or Unreal Engine 4.
GENO says this is why dev kits have gone out so late, because apparently you can just plop a game onto the NX and it'll run no problem. That's really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
GENO even quotes an unnamed third-party developer who said, quote, it's the easiest device we've ever developed for.
What?
You can just take your code, compile it, and it works.
If this is true, it'd be a damn miracle. Interpretive layers of code exist, sure, but they usually cause massive hits to performance.
Yeah, totally. The more layers of interpretation or emulation you have between the instructions you're telling a computer to perform and the computer itself tend to slow down the execution of those instructions by factors of 10 or more.
Right, it's a difference between doing something yourself or telling someone to tell someone else to tell a third person to do that thing. It's obviously much more efficient to just kill your wife yourself.
It's easy.
When it comes to these power claims, we figure one of two things are the case here. Which ones, Lawrence?
The two scenarios as I see it are they're either flatly untrue, just completely fake, or we're dealing with a source that is hyperbolizing what info they may have actually received, or just been told something that they didn't gut check themselves. I tend to think it's the latter. I don't think GENO's just making stuff up here, but I also tend to think this person may be in PR, may not be the most technically minded, and is probably just repeating what they've heard someone else say, and that person was probably telling some tales themselves. It's possible that a developer, with a few drinks in their hand, was just blown away by the capabilities of the NX and said, oh my god, it's like 50 Wii U stacked on top of each other.
Right, yeah.
And then GENO then said that because it made sense to that person.
Sure.
Who knows? It's just important to remember that we're dealing with a game of telephone here, especially when it comes to rumors, and just because one small part of it is a little off doesn't mean the whole story is fake.
So it is possible that the NX is more powerful than an Xbox One, but not 10 times more powerful, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be really hard to imagine that. It's also possible the NX has a powerful set of tools that can recompile most code to run natively on its own hardware.
But if Nintendo develops something like that, they'd probably make more money licensing that functionality to other companies than boxing it inside a consumer device and selling it for $300 or however much it'll be.
Finally, some other tidbits round out the culture around the NX. Apparently, the system is described visually as though Samsung and the Nintendo 2DS had a baby, which plays into rumors that the new console is a handheld hybrid.
From the sounds of it, it's a flat device with an integrated display in addition to an HDMI dongle that you can pop out.
Yeah, the operating system is apparently fantastic as well, and it has the most obvious name you could guess. You ready for this one? Nintendo-DOS? Nintendo OS?
Nintendo.
How do we say that, Lawrence?
Nintendo S, I'm guessing.
Nintendo S. Okay.
Boom!
You got it.
Yeah.
Eat it, Microsoft.
Or Apple, I guess.
I hate this hacker crap.
Window S.
Oh boy, just call it Mario Maker S.
Mario Mokers.
Zeldos.
Zeldos is better. Yes, I like that one.
Metros.
That's wrong.
Mega Moss.
Donkey Kong OS.
I mean, boss.
Splatoon OS. According to the rumor, Nintendo has avoided showing the new OS for fear that people would mistake it for Android. Potentially that already happened.
Interesting. Just 9 months ago, we reported on a rumor saying that the NX runs Android, so perhaps Nintendo saw the erroneous rumors circulate and decided to lock OS access down.
What does this mean, though? Well, the OS on the Wii U was complete garbage. It was slow as hell and made you wait at transition screens to get anything done.
Boom. Take that, Zeldos. Right, Android is a little more technically robust and generally does a good job putting the most access features at the forefront of the interface.
Yeah, hopefully the NX's interface will take some stiff lessons from the Wii U, which is to say, hopefully it's not an annoying jumble of rounded edges and cutesy music.
Cute. And finally, GENO claims that the NX is seen as the late Iwata's final project. What does that mean, Lawrence?
Well, he died. That's sad.
Well, we
Okay.
know that, yeah.
But it was apparently the last project he was really pushing before he passed. As such, Nintendo as a company has rallied behind it to kind of honor his memory, to the extent that employees will conclude meetings by saying, "For Iwata."
For a while.
GENO even quotes an employee by saying they, quote, "have not seen this much forward momentum on a project since they launched the original Famicom."
Whoa.
Which, became the NES in America,
That
the
is
first
really
home
nice,
console.
actually. Yeah.
So, if this is true, Nintendo is potentially looking at a big reinvention, a big rally behind this console, which maybe it's pretty good.
For Iwata.
For Iwata.
Powered by ghosts. So that's about it, and rounds out the latest batch of rumors for the NX. And as rumors tend to be, there's a ton of potentially exciting info here, provided we can lock the NX into our physical reality long enough to play the game.
We'd like to believe in old Ninty just like the rest of you guys, but just remember how the Wii and the Wii U turned out. We'll just have to wait until June to see for sure.
And it's typically tech. You have a bunch of big, lofty ideas, and then reality sets in,
Everything scales back.
and it's a piece of plastic with silicon chips in it, and you deal.
Kid Icarus.
All right, on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. For Iwata.
Oh, Zeldos.
Zack
Zelda.
and Wikios.
For Iwata.
Super Smash Off.
Pokemon.
Super Smash Luigios.
Shouldn't be this funny, but it is.
It says I don't drink often.
Not anymore, you don't. You used to be cool.
You know what I should do? I should buy cigarettes and roll them up into my sleeve so people know that I smoke. That's what cool people.
Is this coming from nowhere? What?
All right, let's start
You
the
said
episode.
I used to be cool.
It's really long. We should
I was
start.
making cool
we
jokes.
should start the episode.
Fuck.